And so now we come to chapter 13 of the Quenta Silmarillion of the Return of the Noldor. Now in this chapter, Feanor and his sons, as we know, have come to Middle-earth to make war against Morgoth to get the Silmarils back. So we get the second battle, the battle under stars. The Dagor Nuin Gileath, as it is called. Feanor, we see his pride and his arrogance once again in this story. And I'm going to read a little bit of it here. Thus it was that he drew far ahead of the van of his host, and seeing this, the servants of Morgoth turned to bay, and there issued from Angband Balrogs to aid them. There upon the confines of Dor Daidalos, the land of Morgoth, Feanor was surrounded with few friends about him. Long he fought on, and undismayed, though he was wrapped in fire and wounded with many wounds. But at the last he was smitten to the ground by Gothmog, lord of Balrogs, whom Ecthelion after slew in Gondolin. Gothmog, in the original Book of Lost Tales, was the son of Morgoth. This is, of course, a conception that Tolkien later abandoned. As originally conceived, the Valar also had children, which, again, he abandoned. But, so, Feanor sees his enemy fleeing, and he decides, I'm going to go ahead and push forward ahead of everybody, and I'm going to go after them. And what does his arrogance and his pride get him once again? Well, he gets killed. And then his son, Maedhros, ends up marching upon Angband, and he is taken. And Morgoth takes him and chains his wrist to a mountain. And he's hanging there. This reminds me, of course, of the Greek myth of Prometheus, who was punished by Zeus to be chained to a rock and have, an eagle ripping at his flesh, and at his I actually looked this up because it's been a while since I had read this myth, but and his liver would always regenerate, and he was in constant pain. Well, Maedhros, what happens to him is, of course, we know that Fingolfin comes behind them. He goes to rescue him, and in the process, Maedhros' hand is cut. And he has to live with this pain the rest of his life. And he's an elf, so that's eternity, right? And then with that is also a Celtic myth about Nuada, which this had reminded me of, which I'd read years ago in some book. I cannot remember the name of the book, but it was just a book of all these different myths from all over the world, which was really, really cool. And this character, of course, in Celtic mythology, gets a new arm made of silver, and which kind of also reminds me of Star Wars, when Anakin gets his hand cut off, and Luke gets his hand cut off by his father, Anakin, obviously, as Darth Vader. So you can definitely, I think George Lucas was influenced by this, and Silmarillion did come out in 1977, the same year as the first Star Wars, and obviously Luke's hand didn't get cut off until Empire Strikes Back in 1980. That's 3 years after this book came out. And of course, with Anakin, that was in the prequels, which much, much later. I always think about that whenever I read this. Well, specifically this Celtic myth, which I think Tolkien was influenced, obviously, by Celtic mythology and all kinds of other mythologies, obviously. Knowing language like he did, he would have studied these, because language and culture go together. And it's a culture thing. At this time, as well, the great eagles come, and it is said of their king, Thorondor that his wingspan was 30 fathoms, and I know that's a pretty big wingspan. I don't remember how much a fathom is. 30 fathoms to feet. 180 feet. 180 foot wingspan. That's a pretty big eagle. As we see in the Lord of the Rings movies, they're pretty big. So I think Peter Jackson captured that perfectly. At this time, Torgon and Finrod are both given dreams by Ulmo, Lord of Waters, and they, in their hearts, they propose to go find a place to build a fortification, basically. Ulmo even later comes to Torgon and tells him, hey, you need to build something because Morgoth is eventually going to come down here and just wreak havoc. So you need a place of strength. And so, in secret, he begins to devise plans for a great city called Gondolin, which he's going to have planned to look like Tyrion back in Valinor. And this chapter ends with Morgoth going to battle with the elves once again in the third battle of the battles of Beleriand, Dagor Aglareb, the glorious battle. And, of course, at the very end, Morgoth creates the first of the fire dragons, Glaurung. He is young at this point yet, when he issues forth from Angband for the first time, but he will become important later on because he will grow in strength, and I think he's one of the best dragons ever. And too bad we're never going to get a adaptation on TV or in film of this dragon, but he's probably bigger and badder than Smaug, I would say, and that'd be really cool to see one day, but I doubt that'll happen. Anyway, that is chapter 13. The only one I'm doing for today because I really didn't get much reading done today. I've kind of a lazy day today, or I don't feel like doing anything, but hey, you'll have that, right? So maybe I'll just hop in the shower and then go to bed. Anyway, that'll be it until tomorrow. I will be back with another video or two as I continue to read through the Silmarillion. Until then, I say enjoy yourselves. I will definitely enjoy myself, and gotta work tonight, so there you go. That ends that joy, right? But anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.